of the dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. It is pandemonium.
Welcome, fellow Bills fans, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the regular season. Bills versus Jets coming up. Guys, how pumped are you?
Oh boy, I can't.
Yeah,
We finally made it.
it looks
Can't believe
like
we're finally
we
here, man.
made it.
Welcome to the K-Gun Report. Tonight, joining me, we have Scott,
Heyo.
Blank,
Yep.
and our guest tonight, a lifelong Bills fan, Dan from Dandino Sports Memorabilia and Card Breaks. Dan, welcome to the show.
What's up, Bills Mafia?
Hey guys, hey Dan. First of all, let us know what's going on with that Dandino. What's up with that?
So, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. First off, I mean, kudos to you guys for starting this group where you guys have come with this group, and I always wish you guys the best. As we move on and grow your guys' group. So, but talking about Dandino Sports, so Dandino Sports was started earlier this year, right about the beginning of February, and honestly, it was just about collecting sports memorabilia. So I jumped in some things back in the fall, some breaks, won some really cool memorabilia. Some of it's kind of sitting right here. I'll show you guys some stuff later on too. And I just thought to myself, like, why wouldn't I invite my friends to get in on this stuff? Like, I've got so many buddies that would just love, it doesn't matter what you're a fan, what team you're a fan of. I was like, wow, we can win some really cool stuff for cheap. So we started off with 2 mini helmets and 4 jerseys, and now we're doing. It was awesome, I think like 10 of us got in. We just kind of got, it was a lot of fun, and we now have 600 members. We're always looking to kind of grow and get more people in, and just honestly, we do breaks, a cheap way to honestly win some really cool memorabilia. We've been going strong for a while now, and it's just really cool. We've done everything from, obviously, you're seeing in front of me, full-size helmets to mini helmets. Here's your Tremaine Edmonds, Ed Oliver, Josh Allen. You see my Allen in the background here. We have a Bills series coming up. We got some footballs.
Nice.
Josh Allen. We'll do some throwbacks, college stuff. O.J. Simpson autographed jersey.
Wow.
And then, of course, our hopeful number 1 wide receiver from this year. Put us in the end zone a bunch. And
Ryan Fitzpatrick, baby.
I'd love his jersey, man. I'm telling you right now, I will get that eventually. Mr. Stephon Diggs. So,
Nice.
Dandino Sports is really kind of a cool way to earn some memorabilia for really cheap. And honestly, we're a fun group. We're a family. We everybody's encouraging of one another. If you don't hit something, everybody's there to kind of pick you up and cheer you on. And that's just what we do. It's a family atmosphere. So we do a lot of different things. I do a whole football series, which will be coming up in the fall as soon as football starts. I will be getting jerseys from as many teams as possible, and we will be starting a jersey series. Yes, we went from 2 mini helmets and 4 jerseys to now like 35 jerseys in a series almost.
Wow.
So we've grown a little bit, but I do throw in the Bills series every now and then. Our Cowboys fans hate it, but I don't really care. So it's the Bills only series, and it just so happens that this Bills only series is going to happen starting tomorrow night. I've got about 20 plus items to include full-size helmets, mini helmets, footballs, jerseys that will be included in a Buffalo Bills only series, which is really cool. So check us out, Dandino Sports. Sports memorabilia and card breaks. We do cards as well. Anybody that's been out there in the market right now knows that anything cards is probably the hottest market out there right now. So we've done a lot of cool card stuff, and just to kind of give you guys an idea of some of our good rookies here too, Jake Fromm, Gabriel Davis. These are some really cool cards that are out there. So yeah, come check us out. Send me a message. Definitely come on in. I'd be glad to have everybody, man.
That's sick.
Yeah, Dan, I
having
think
me on,
we
guys.
have your information on the tracker below.
Yeah.
So everybody look on the tracker below. You'll be able to find how to contact Dan. And also stay tuned that tracker. We're going to have updated stats throughout the season, fantasy football, injuries, Buffalo Bills news, and 24/7 Bills Fandemonium news. Fellas, keep the palate going for the night. Let's do it again. What are we drinking tonight? Scott, I'm going to go for you first.
Iron Smoke. That's the
Yeah.
best booze of the year, so I'm going with Iron Smoke out of Fairport. Very smooth whiskey. So that's what I'm doing. Cheers. You'll see me sipping on this all night.
That's a good choice. Dan, how about you, bud?
Well, I love my Lenovo pizza out there in Buffalo.
Hell
but,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But with that pizza, I have to complement with my diet drink. So I'm a little Tito's with some seltzer water and a little lemon, as you can see. So just
Nice.
kind of trying to keep it light tonight.
Nice.
All right, Swank, what kind of high-powered, high-octane drink do you have to share with us tonight?
Well, keeping in the theme of you guys, I kind of went a little light tonight. I decided to do one of those Smirnoff Red, White, and Berries, and I'm drinking it through a coconut straw with an umbrella sticking out
in
the
it?
top of it. Actually, no, I'm drinking just this hazy little thing by Sierra Nevada. It's
There you
a
go.
nice little sessioner. It's good. Good
Nice.
stuff.
I have one of those in the fridge, I think. All right, guys. Tonight, I'm going to stick with the 2020 Bills Beer of the Year with the Blue Moon Company, and we're going to go with a little iced coffee blonde. That's what I'm going to be drinking tonight.
Ooh, coffee flavor.
All right,
There you
guys.
go.
Like I said
Ooh.
earlier, we
Cheers.
finally
Hey,
made-
cheers.
Cheers, guys. Oh, first, before we get started, can I get a hey?
Hey!
Dan's a little delayed. Guys, we're just going to spend a little bit of time on this 53
Kids are sleeping next door. I couldn't get too crazy.
They just broke it to us Saturday. We all were waiting intently to see what was going to happen. And then Sunday and Monday, they picked up their practice squad players. So I'm going to go with Swank first on this one. I want you to tell me what your surprise roster make was and who your surprise roster release was.
Man.
And fans watching, throw yours in there too. We can compliment
Yep.
on anything you say.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking before we got on, man. I didn't have a surprise miss, I don't think. I mean, people might say Foster. I say like good riddance to that dude. I mean, it was great 2 years ago when he started to pick up and showed a little something, but I think last year was the year that like he was supposed to make it. You know, he was supposed to show something last year. And he didn't. So I heard now he's signed to the Green Bay Packers practice squad. Nothing but good luck and love to you. I hope that, you make something and do something. But, man, I am just so stoked on everyone we have. We kept everybody. I don't know how we kept everybody, but we kept everybody. It might not be a surprise make, but, like, Hodgins, dude, that whole IR slick shell game thing that Big Baller Bean pulled on us the other day, where we thought my boy Andre Roberts, who is not cut, by the way, he is the return
made it.
specialist. He made it. Everybody was kind of like, what the hell's going on? Him and Dean Marlowe are cut, and nobody saw that coming at all. And then it was instantly, oh, well, Feliciano's going on IR, and then this other person that nobody released the name of. So you're looking like, well, who the hell else is the other person that's going on IR? And then it's Hodgins. And I don't know. We were talking a little bit before we started the stream, man. Like, he had a shoulder injury and must be a little more serious, or, maybe they think that he could use a little more time resting it, or whatever the politics of the move were.
Yeah.
But, man, they got everybody, man. Like, everybody. Duke's back. He's on the practice squad. I don't know.
Swank, I'm going to jump in here and tell you exactly why we got everybody. It's what Jared hit on last week with our fifth episode there, is the communication.
Oh, yeah.
They communicate with these guys that they're going to cut. They're going to say, hey, listen, we're going to cut you, but we need to bring our guys on the roster to put them on IR. So we're going to cut you, but we're going to bring you back the next day, and you'll be on our starting roster. And that's what happened to Dean Marlowe, and that's what happened to Andre Roberts. And you're right, they were able to keep everybody. Duke Williams, Antonio Williams, my fan favorite, Antonio Williams is still on the roster. And so is Wade still on the roster. And, yeah, it seemed like they found a way to keep everybody on the roster, which is – and when you're – when you're talking about people on the practice squad that you're excited about them, you
Yeah.
got to be excited about the whole roster.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't know. The thing about the cut, not cut, like, you have to have so much trust out of your players to sell them on that, to make sure that they know that, look, man, it's only for 24 hours and you're going to be back on. Don't worry, I promise. Like, that's what McDermott and Bean have been building in this franchise for the last 3 years. It's insane. Like, if you're an NFL player and you're a specialist like Andre Roberts is, or you're a backup like Dean Marlowe is, and they tell you, look, we love you, you're on the team, but not right now. Like, if it was any other organization, I'm sitting here being like, what? But these guys, you know, they do what they say what they mean. Like, they're signing their players, you know. I don't know. It's a beautiful situation right now.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, you know, the thing that, you know, obviously the phrase of the Bills since McDermott and Bean have come in is trust the process, right? So
Never heard that before.
Never heard that?
No.
I'm coining it right now, like Paris Hilton. So hashtag trust the process. So, you know, I mean, trust is a big piece of that, you know, and I think that that's where, like, the Bills, so, like, you know, back in the 90s, there was a little bit of a family atmosphere. Marv Levy brought that in, and, you know, you saw people buy into that. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing now is people are starting to buy into this. Like, this is a special team. This is a special thing going on here. You know, you see that finally we've got coaches that we think believe in the team. It's not like Rex Ryan coming in trying to make something of himself, but not the team. You know what I mean? Like, Rex Ryan was like a big figure himself, but he wasn't about the team. And McDermott and Bean are all about the team. And that trust piece and the trust the process is absolutely huge. And we see that people really do buy into that. So that just I think that that's really a kudos to them for, you know, obviously really pushing that, but then obviously following through as well with we're going to show you guys why you should trust this process. So.
Right. And Dan, I'm going to throw in real quick. You know what's awesome about this whole situation is that Bean and McDermott are very young. So it's going to be for a long time in Buffalo. And
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And I'm all about Bean's moves. I mean, you know, as we sit here and talk about, like, the players that have been cut and the, you know, so there was really no surprises. You know what I mean? Like, for me, there really was there was nobody that got cut. And I'm like, damn. Like, there was people that were, like, close to my heart, like Christian Wade. You know, like, I just love that dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would have loved to see Christian Wade, like, you know, come out and do something and, you know, whatever. But it wasn't, you know, a match for him based upon his skill sets and things like that. You know, it was just, you know, people that go to play college football versus rugby are just going to have more to offer a system, you know, that's kind of already in place. So, you know, there's those guys, you know, I have a soft spot for those guys. Duke Williams, soft spot for Mr. Duke Williams, you know, but, you know, his days are not completely numbered as far as the Bills are concerned, being on the practice squad. So, you know, I'm all about it. You know, I'm scared about COVID and scared about what that means to the season and what that'll limit the season on. But if it does not limit this season, and we can get some fans back in these stands, I mean, that's obviously a very exciting year for the Bills. And this is probably the most exciting year that we've had since what, 95?
Yeah, absolutely. Mid early
95,
90s.
like, it's crazy to say that. Yeah.
a while ago.
Flutie in '99.
I did. Love me some Flutie.
Yeah, dude. Love me some Flutie Flakes.
I should have put my Flutie Flakes up here.
Yeah, absolutely. You get a
going
side
off
box
the
of Flutie
waivers.
Flakes, and I'm buying every single one of those spots.
Well,
I got a signed Flutie card somewhere, but I don't have Flutie Flakes.
if we're going to go off people that were surprised were cut, one of my fan favorites was Vojan Joseph. And he didn't get back to the practice squad. Unfortunately, injuries and all that stuff took care of that situation. But best of luck to him. But my two surprise practice squad guys are the two linebackers that they brought in, that Delshawn Phillips and Tyrell Dodson, who's going to back up the outside linebacker positions. In earlier episodes, I said those were the weakest positions on our team. And without knowing how these two actually play, obviously they're on the team for a reason. They did training camp and all that stuff. I can't wait to see how they actually contribute to this defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man, for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, a guy that Swank and I both had not making the team is my surprise roster make, and that's Trent Murphy.
Ah, dude, I know, right?
Yeah, so it makes you want. I mean, you hear nothing but good things about him by McDermott, he's got a work ethic like nobody else, and it kind of makes you wonder, because they were calling for him to have a make or break season this year. What did he do in practice? What besides his leadership? There's something that must have stood out for him to beat out those youngsters again. And I'm telling you what, if he has a fire under his backside, even though I didn't have him making the team, and he did, watch out for him. He might be the sack guy. He might be helping Hughes over there get to that number 20 sacks that we might be talking about later.
And Jared, you always say whoever makes the roster, you're rooting for him. So
Yeah,
we're rooting for you, Trent Murphy.
Absolutely.
Half-
Well, Bean had a yesterday they interviewed Bean, and one of the things that he said about Trent Murphy was just obviously his leadership. So one of the things we have to understand and put as a reality for the Bills is they're a very young team. Like, they're an extremely young team, because one of the things that Bean and McDermott wanted to do was build a team through the draft and things like that. So the Bills are a very young team. We have a very talented team. We have a very young team. So there are some guys that are going to need to carry some leadership. We saw Frank Gore leave, but we saw Devin Singletary benefit from Frank Gore being there for a year,
Absolutely.
giving him some knowledge. So when you have guys in those roles like Josh Norman, all he can do is give those young corners, really some good knowledge, about some stuff. So, when you see some of these older players come in, I mean, it's not always about the contribution they're going to make on the field. It's the contribution they're going to make to those players, those young players, those little things. So Bean kind of touched on that yesterday with Trent Murphy. It's not just about Trent Murphy coming in and contributing on the field. It's also about Trent Murphy and what he offers to these young linebackers, defensive ends. You got a guy like Ed Oliver, who obviously needs to get his head on straight and start to perform and not make stupid decisions. He's got all the talent in the world, but some of these older guys can really offer. Harrison Phillips, Ed Oliver, any of the Milano and Edmonds. He offers a lot of good knowledge to that defense.
Yeah,
So-
leadership on the field is important, but Dan, like you touched, off the field too is just as important. Just if you saw Tre'Davious White's little press conference there, he talked a little bit about I watched it and it kind of hit a little. He talked about his contract and what it meant to him and what it meant to his family and what it meant to his teammates. The young bucks that come up and watch this guy and see how he plays, practices, and when it's time to talk to people in the press, the way he carries himself, that's just going to add a little bit more of a professionalism to these young kids. And we preach the culture thing a lot, and it's nice to see that this is happening in the Buffalo Bills organization. And Trey White, man, what a leader.
Well, we were talking about young guys earlier, and real quick, just so we don't miss it, Dakota Groves asked, how's Zach Moss going to do this year? Currently in the 15th round, he was taken in a 10-man fantasy draft.
Shout out to Dakota Groves, by the way, member of Dandino Sports, listening tonight.
Dakota, I could tell you, he's going to go late, but he'll be a touchdown guy. He's a thumper. He's already warned everybody that if they're going to tackle him, they have to make a business decision. Singletary's going to be our starter, but Zach Moss is there, and he's a thumper, and he knows as a rookie, if he's going to get the ball inside the 2-yard line, he better make the most of it. And fantasy football wise, 16th round for 10 player thing, that's not bad at all. He'll score you some points.
Dude, he's going to vulture, man. He's going to vulture from Allen. He's going to vulture from Singletary. He's going to be that goal line bruiser. So, yeah, good pickup, man. Thanks for watching.
Jim Bienview asked, Hauschka was a surprise. How is the rookie kicker doing? He's got a leg. He is kicking. He's kicking touchbacks. He's kicking touchbacks into the wind. So as far as a kickoff specialist, he's got that nailed down. The hype and the having to kick that 50-yard field goal when there's 1 second left to win the game, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure, but he won it for a reason, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's got a boot.
He had a lot of cool gimmicky videos that they posted during the draft and when he first came to Buffalo with like the 1-step 50-yarders and the 2-step 60-yarders and all that stuff. So I don't know, man. I like him a lot. I think it's cool to have somebody fresh with a big leg, and if he misses, he misses.
And on a rookie contract.
Yeah, exactly. Hausch was starting to get tired, and I think everybody knew it. And he's been to a couple other teams trying out since then, and they know it too. He hasn't landed anywhere yet. So
Well, Hausch was missing extra points. He missed a couple in the scrimmage, and he missed a couple during practice. So that's the big thing. You get as many points as you can, and when you start missing those easy ones, and they're not going to draft a kicker without already knowing Hausch goes out. Thanks, Dakota and Jim, for your comments. Keep them coming, guys.
Absolutely.
I think another point was Beans, touched on it yesterday. He said, it's not just about the points that you put on the board. It's also about the kickoff. And, the kickoff is also a very important thing. We don't want people returning balls. We want to put the ball through the back of the end zone, not allow the returners to come out with the ball. So that was another big thing, too. And then, like you said, this guy was kicking 40 miles into the wind, putting it in the back of the end zone. So that's sick. That's sick.
Yep. And let's go back to surprise. They kept the third quarterback, guys, Jake Fromm.
Yeah, I picked that. I knew that would happen.
Not even the practice squad. I think Davis Webb made the practice squad. So that's kind of a surprise, too, for me. But Davis Webb can play a lot of these scenario quarterbacks. He's a big-body quarterback. He could probably replace Roethlisberger because they play Steelers, act as a Roethlisberger type of guy. But is Fromm still on the roster to kind of learn because Barkley's out next year? Who knows? It'll be fun to watch. Had to throw that.
I got one word for you, and it's the only reason he's on the roster, and it's COVID. That's it.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to some One Bills Live earlier today, and they were talking about how the Jets have 5 QBs on their roster right now, including the practice squad. And that includes Joe Flacco with his injury, and they're hoping that he's going to return and ultimately back up Sam Darnold. But, 5 QB. Like, these guys are taking it serious, man. You can't be caught without a QB no matter what's happening. I mean,
to be honest with you, I didn't even think about that. So good point. That's a way to bring that up. Yeah,
I really think that's it. I'm kind of surprised it's not swapped, and I think that more goes to your point about being able to emulate people on the practice squad, and obviously Webb has more experience doing that kind of thing. And who knows? I thought with the Fromm pick, it was kind of a predestined thing, like what the Patriots do, right? Like maybe you build up this guy, you start winning games, people get it in your head that you have this great organization that builds winners and good players, and maybe you can get something for them down the road. That would be great.
And we all know what they do with their draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They win. Jared, who was yours, man?
People love Jake Fromm. I will tell you the value on this value, literally, I hit his cards and I'm like, I'm not even excited. That's starting quarterback. This is not Jordan Love.
Yeah.
This is not, this is not a sexy. It's not Tua. This is not, Joe Burrows by any means. But I'm telling you, the value is crazy because some people love Jake Fromm, and
it's those college guys. College. I have a couple buddies who prefer to watch college over the NFL. Those guys who watched him play, where did he play? Georgia.
Georgia.
He did well there. And if you follow college football, why wouldn't you grab that card?
And he played a pro-style offense, and he's accurate. So there's a lot of NFL managers.
That's it. Well, he's there's a lot of criticism behind him. There has been since he was a sophomore. Yeah. And he stayed through his senior year. There was hype about Jake Fromm when he was a sophomore. People thought he was going to enter the NFL draft when he was a sophomore.
Right.
And then I think something happened. Exactly. So, and then all of a sudden, he had to play it out. There was some off the field stuff. I think there was a couple other things going on, but there was all that buzz around him. So I don't know, maybe he does end up being someone that we capitalize off of later on. Some team gets, a couple injuries and we've got some capital in our backup that we can throw people for a second-round pick or something.
Well, real quick before we switch up on anything, the rumor that I love to hear was the fact that the Patriots were going to go after him and the Bills snatched him up in that round. So
yeah,
I'm sticking by that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hell yeah.
Get him.
Hell yeah. And they got stuck with Lady Newton, so we're all right there, man. I'm all right with that.
Dude, that guy's going to be a bust this year, right? Like,
huge bust.
I just can't.
Absolute huge bust. I tell you guys, I think that, because people were collecting, obviously, what's his face there?
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, yeah. Tom Brady.
What's his name? Tom Brady.
He already forgot about him.
But so we're sitting here talking about, like, Cam Newton. And, guys, he's going to, I just don't see anything out of Cam. I don't know, man. I snagged Julian Edelman up in a couple fantasy leagues just because he was there in like the 10th round or something like that, which is just crazy to me. Like, somebody's got to be able to hit Julian Edelman. But then I remembered Cam Newton's in that offense, and he can't hit the broadside of a barn with his throws. So
yeah, you take one bad quarter from him, and that game's over with.
Well, and not only that, but you take that 1.5 second release that Brady has. Cam Newton does not have that.
No.
So Edelman is not anything close to what he is with Brady. He's not going to be anything close with Newton because Brady got rid of that ball quick, and Newton does not do that.
That's what I'm saying. What's the timing going to be like between those two dudes? Because Edelman's used to freaking go hit, right? Like, and Cam extends plays, so it's the complete opposite way. They're going to totally – their whole offense is going to be run first. It's going to be very much built around like a Ravens-esque kind of like offense, and they're going to hope that their defense that has – 2/3 of the players that it had last year is going to like carry them. And
hey, listen, guys, I'm going to interrupt you quick, Swank. We'll talk about the Cheatriots later when we have our projections.
All right.
We got on a kind of a tangent. All of a sudden we're talking. Thanks, Dan Dino.
Listen. I'm just familiar with the market, and Stidham cards were going nuts, right? Wow. Stidham stuff was going completely off the charts. Like, you get a Stidham like base card and it was like $30 and you're like, what the hell's going on? Just because the Patriots are in that market, and now Stidham's value went down, and I was like, guys, like, it's going to come back up because Stidham's going to be back in the market by week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
Like, Cam Newton is garbage.
I just had to plug that in there.
Hey,
we lost 18 followers, I think, right now. Because,
Jared, we're going to talk about Jets and Bills football.
Well, why wouldn't we? Guys, what we got? 5 days before kickoff?
Oh, boy.
Damn right,
Buffalo
we got
Bills
5 days before
Jets.
kickoff.
Let me throw this out there really quick. So the first meeting was September 11th, 1960. Back then, they were the New York Titans. They beat our Buffalo Bills 27-3. But guess what? We played them 118 more times, and we lead the series 63-56. So we have their number. They do have one thing on us, though. The great Joe Namath, if you want to call him the great, did win them that one Super Bowl, but they've been a quiet franchise from there on out. I just want to ask you, Swank, really quick. Do you remember your first Bills game?
Oh, yeah, I remember my first Bills game.
You want to share it with the fans?
Oh, yeah, I want to share it with the fans.
Go ahead.
I was 13 years old. It was my birthday. I was sitting at my dining room table, and some of my dad's friends showed up, and we were all sitting around, and there's this huge box, and I opened it, and there was another box, and then I opened that as another box, and it was like one of those Russian dolls, and the very last box with this small thing. It was my big gift, it was the last gift, and it was front row tickets to Bills versus Jets, and it was behind the Jets bench, but it was still first row,
Yeah.
That was my first Bills game, and I went, and I remember just like the crazy energy in the stadium. I remember being upset because when they announced Bruce Smith, he came out, and all I heard was boo, and I thought they were booing him, and I was like, Dad, why are they booing Bruce Smith? He's so good. And he's like, no, they're saying Bruce. And I was like, oh yeah. And then that was the game where Bruce ended Boomer Esiason's career. He knocked him out of the game so hard, and the benefit to being behind the Jets bench was that when they drug his lifeless body off the field and put him on a gator, he was sitting there, and they were shoving like smelling salts into his nose. And I was sitting there at 13 years old with a camera just taking as many pictures as I possibly could. But yeah, knocked him out of the game, ended his career, and the Bills won. That was back when they took photos of every play, developed them, and sent them down to the field like via fax or something. And
they had a runner.
Yeah. It was like windy, and my dad, he's trying to make it the best day ever. It was already the best day ever, man. The Bills were winning. My favorite players on the field. It was crazy. It was like the best first game story that I ever possibly could have hoped for, And so, God, I can't remember who the kicker was.
For us or them?
No, for them, for the Jets. I keep wanting to say Nick Folk. I don't think it was him. Anyway, whatever. He went wide left.
Nick Folk, yeah.
He went wide left, and there was like all these photos. Like the game was over. That was it. They could have won the game. He went wide left. All the photos were like blowing on the field, and my dad was like talking to the security guard while everything was clearing out, and he's like, "Hey man, grab one of those pictures. Grab one for my son." And he's like, "Can't do it. Can't do it. Security, can't do it." And he's like, "It'll make his whole day. Like, please, it's his birthday. It's his first game." And it was like this big, like German-looking, pure blonde guy, and he just like rolled his eyes, reached down and grabbed it, and he handed it like straight to me, and
Nice.
it was the picture of him missing the field goal.
Oh, nice.
So I have that framed with my dad and I's tickets, like in my living room. It's like my most cherished possession.
What a memory.
Yeah, man, it was great. But that's like, for me, I hate the Jets, and that's exactly why. Like it was the best. It was such a great rivalry. We had, I don't know, I'll remember it forever. You know what I mean?
That guy, you said you were 13 at the time.
Yep.
Did you have this yet?
Yeah. No, I've had this since I was 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
I had the stash since I was 2. This since I was 6. Yeah.
A little patchy then, I bet. Huh?
A little bit. Not too bad. Though.
Eric Gardner
Too
joins
bad.
us. Eric Gardner says, "Go Steelers." We will have him on the show come Steelers week, everybody. Eric,
Oh,
what's
that would
up?
be fun.
Watch him.
That'd
Yeah,
be
this
super
is
fun.
called Bill's Fandemonium, but at the end of the day, it's called the Fandemonium. We invite everybody to watch, talk football. If you have 2 cents about a team that you don't know much about, let us know, and we can answer them the best we can. So
Yeah.
welcome, Eric. We'll see you guys in a little while.
How's Duck doing down there in Pitts? Oh.
I just saw something on
not down
NFL
there
Network saying that the Steelers are projected to have the #1 defense again. So we'll talk about
Really?
that obviously, when we face the
Oh,
Steelers.
come on.
I got a couple arguments for that one.
Yeah. Me too.
Hey guys, what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back to 24/7 Bills Fandemonium, we're gonna talk about Darnold and Allen, and we're gonna talk a little bit about our season projection and game projections. All right, so we'll see you in a little bit. Hold on, we'll be right back. Go Bills!
Won't be long, fellas.
Go Bills.
Hello, 24/7 Bills Fandemonium fans. Scott here. On behalf of Jared, Justin, Swank, and myself, we would like to thank you for joining in on the podcast tonight. We hope you're enjoying the show. During this late intermission, we want to remind you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch or listen on our live stream on Facebook Live or catch up on our podcast via YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, and subscribe if you like what you're getting from the 24/7 Bills Fandemonium Forum. Every week we'll be discussing everything current with the Buffalo Bills. We have up-to-date stat lines, injuries, and 24/7 Bills news on the tracker below as we discuss our Buffalo Bills during this offseason. Again, we thank you very much for your support, and remember, join the conversation, join the Stampede.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fandemonium 24/7 Bills Fandemonium with the K-Gun Report. We have some news. Dan, do you have the name of that kicker who missed that field goal that Swank was talking about earlier?
I believe that was Mike Nugent.
Mike Nugent.
go.
Get.
Did you take this break to look him up?
I
Surprised
said it
Scott
before. Listen, I think I hit the minute before the break, maybe not so much, but no, Mike Nugent was the kicker that missed that field goal that is so precious to you.
That is so precious to me.
Now, I must say, I think if you look up Mike Nugent's stats, he was a pretty darn good kicker. So
Oh yeah.
for him,
Mike
to
Nugent,
miss-
yeah, he spent some time in Cincinnati, spent some time in the Jets, but definitely, he was. I mean, I think over time he was a. Listen, kickers. It sucks to be a kicker, right? Like you're one of the most scrutinized positions on the field, right? So, it sucks to be a kicker, but shit, if you go from playing soccer for whatever you're making to football, and you're now making, a millhouse or two a year, shit, who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, I must say though, if you look up the average salary of athletes, soccer players are like the top 5 or soccer players. So
Yeah, but
Well,
you're.
you got to be pretty good though. Like,
Ronaldo and Messi and all those guys. But
when
Pele.
you with Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, like those guys, like obviously those guys are making.
We're talking
Yes,
wrong
buddy.
football, guys. Wrong football.
Yeah.
Wrong
We're
football.
talking about American football.
Football Americano. Come on, let's do it.
All right, guys, listen, I want to get on a discussion that I feel that we've been hoping for since 2018 when both these gentlemen were drafted. 3rd pick, Sam Darnold, and 7th pick, Josh Allen. Is this another Jim Kelly, Dan Marino type thing you guys feel? Scott, you got your thumbs up. I'm going to let you go with that. Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, is this the next rivalry in the AFC East?
I would say yes, it's the next rivalry. I wouldn't compare him to Dan Marino and Jim Kelly. Dan Marino took his team to the Super Bowl that first year that he was there, so that's
Just
not
that
something.
one time, though. Just that one time.
I agree with in the concept of it. I said it last week. Josh Allen needs to put the big boy pants on, and he needs to make sure that he is driving the car this year. It's up to him. Sam Darnold, I would like to say that it is his 3rd year, but they're just not doing enough for him to have any control of that vehicle. Le'Veon Bell, yes, they brought in. Okay, they brought in Josh Doxson last year, but he's from Washington and he's opted out. Jamison Crowder, he was good in Washington. Yeah, he's there. And they lost Robbie Anderson.
Preach.
Yeah, I'll keep talking. They got a rookie. They got Sims, a rookie wide receiver, being their number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Against our defensive backs, and I don't want to jinx anything, but against our defensive backs, we should be able to play man up on all these guys and create some pressure all freaking day. And I'm telling you, I predicted 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and I'm only giving them 10 points this year. Again, not this year.
The whole year?
God
Against
damn,
the
that's
Bills. Against the Bills, and it's going to be a late touchdown that they get. But they have no wide receiver core. And if you know you can't throw the ball, Le'Veon Bell is in quicksand. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. My only concern is going to be Herndon, the tight end. He does show promise. He has shown that he's got the ability to play. And I know I'm jumping all around here a little bit, but Milano will have his first test. Everyone wants Milano to get signed, and they're talking about how much he's going to get signed for. His first test will be this week against Herndon.
Yeah.
Okay. But going back.
AFC East is kind of rich on tight ends. You got Gesicki, you got Herndon. So there's going to be some tests there. Patriots, I don't know how they're going to pull for tight end, but definitely those 2 tight ends, fantasy wise, are 2 tight ends that are really talked about as kind of a steal if you hit them mid rounds, whatever. But the way that I kind of look at it, and it's kind of funny because, well, listen, this whole draft, like, I love it based upon where Josh Rosen's at, which is nowhere, because listen, when Josh Rosen said there were 3 mistakes ahead of me, I kind of went, screw you, dude. And I just kind of went like, okay, bro, let's see where you go. And obviously that's nowhere.
Dan, you got some Bills fans wanting him and backing him up in Buffalo. You got some Bills fans saying you should come to Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You got some Bills
So-
fans saying they were wrong, that we got the right Josh, and the wrong Josh has been floating around two half-ass teams for the last couple of years.
Listen, I was so excited when we took Josh Allen and not Josh Rosen, and then he just ended up exactly where he needs to be. So I'm completely fine with that. Darnold's a talented quarterback. He really is. The Jets just don't put him in position to do anything. So that's a typical Jets team. So it is what it is. And Baker's Baker. Baker was obviously the most touted, and that is what it is. But I think the most talented quarterback to come out of that draft class, honestly, is our boy. And I think that, and not only that, he just fits the system, fits the mold. I mean, I just, every time I watch him in interviews, I just want him to be Jim Kelly. Not that I want him to be Jim Kelly. I want him to be that dedicated to the system and dedicated to the Buffalo Bills like we've never seen before out of a quarterback since Jim Kelly.
Right.
And I think we're finally seeing a quarterback that fits the right mold for the system, obviously has some things to work on, but I honestly think is the most talented quarterback out of that draft class. And I thought he was the most talented quarterback out of the draft class when it started. And so I was
Again, you went to school in Buffalo, correct?
I went to University of Buffalo. You got it.
Okay, so wouldn't you say that this young man, Josh Allen, fits that city well, too?
I mean, absolutely, 100%. So, the city of Buffalo wants a blue-collar guy that's going to work hard, that's going to do what needs to be done. And what we saw out of Josh Allen was, so Josh Allen didn't throw for 400, yards a game, but he gets the job done. And he's a raw talent. I mean, if you need him to run for a few yards and plow somebody over, jump over somebody, he's going to do it. If you need him to dump off, make that athletic, play, he's going to be able to do it. He's refining his game in this third year. So it's like when you can, and he's refining his game, he's doing what he needs to do. So, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's, if he can obviously add in Stephon Diggs as somebody that can teach him a lot about route running and quarterback relationship with the wide receivers. He had John Brown, he had Cole Beasley, but Diggs is just another animal, I think. And I think this is just going to help him grow even more. I'm really excited to see how, of everybody on this damn team, and of course it's always the quarterback, but of everybody on this team, I'm really excited to see how Josh Allen grows this year on his throwing ability to these wide receivers. I really do.
Real quick, Dan, give me a number. What's his passing percentage this year? Personally, I don't think it matters because it's all situational. But
I think he's 62.5.
That's what I have. He's going up 6 per year.
I think it's 62.5, and I think that's good. I think that's a good percentage for him to be at.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yo, call on me, Coach. Let me get in on this discussion.
Yeah, you might as well just run with it.
Oh, I will, dude. I will tell you what, dude. I am so sick of these people talking about Sam Darnold, dude. I cannot stand it at all.
But don't you want him to be successful so
fine,
that there's
sure.
that competition at Neo League?
Sure.
I mean, I'm fine, dude. He can be that guy battling with Josh. It'll be super fun. Absolutely.
Listen, we've had such a run of terrible USC quarterbacks. We have to give him one, right?
Just one,
Right,
sure.
yeah.
You know what? There's this list that I've been compiling since I was 25 or something of quarterbacks that get too much praise for being they'd be so good if they just had a team around them, but they never had a team. You know who's number one on that list? Phillip Rivers, dude. I don't care about Phillip Rivers at all, and I don't care who knows it. It's just infuriating to me to be every other position in football. If you're not winning at your position, you're done.
Yeah.
But Phillip Rivers, he gets a pass because he's got an arm. He can throw. He's
put that
the
up there,
epitome of this whole yards per game thing, right? Throw 400, 500 yards per game and you lose. Sam Darnold is a great quarterback, sure, maybe. Who knows?
Is he turning into Rivers?
I think so, man, because there's nothing there. There's nothing there right now to prove that he's not. And all these comparisons Josh Allen, he's such a slob, or he can't throw and he's inaccurate and all this stuff. Dude's been to a playoff game. Dude's had a winning record. he's got things Sam Darnold did not have or has not accomplished in his career.
Well, and I think he doesn't have the same ego. Like, he's blue collar, dude.
Exactly.
He's gonna do the things that Sam Darnold is not willing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's gonna leap. He's gonna leap a Miami or a Minnesota linebacker.
100%.
You know, he's
There's
gonna
another
reach in a
quarterback out
pile
there.
where he knows he could break his hands and grab a
There's
ball.
another
Not just
quarterback out
any
there that's
linebacker,
made
but
a
Anthony
name.
Barr.
Exactly.
Pretty big linebacker.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's another
Come on,
quarterback
guys,
out
one
there
at a
that's-
time. One at a time.
It's Pash is week
there's
one,
another
dude.
quarterback
It's
out
week
there that's
one.
made a name for himself.
We're excited.
Doing
I
the
know.
little things, and even could start above him. Yeah, Ryan, our number 14 for the Buffalo Bills for many years, right? I just love Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think that it's so funny. You know, we just gotta go there. But Fitzpatrick is blue collar, and he's made a name for himself in the NFL being blue collar, doing the things, the little things that some of these idiots that are so egotistic are not willing to do. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't care if he's played for 9 teams. Like, he's still starting. He's still doing those little things that nobody's willing to do. Just, you know,
little things like making the connection with your fellow players, making the connection
100%.
with the city.
Yeah,
nobody dislikes him.
Just
one
being
team that he
loose,
was
being
playing
fun.
they don't
When have you seen Sam Darnold go to the podium with fucking a chain around his neck and just being fun, right? Like, Sam Darnold comes to the podium with a stick up his ass, right? That's the way it is. Sam Darnold comes
We
to
all
the
have a
podium
little
and he's like,
50 in this too, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know, man. I think I don't interact on Twitter a lot, but when I go on it, it's like the most up-to-date, accurate, like to the second information. That's how I found out that Diggs signed to the Bills. It was like beep, 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 beep. I was on free agency just like scrolling the whole time and like, oh my God, we got him. And I see all these arguments about Sam Darnold. He just doesn't have the team built around him. You know, like Josh Allen's a worse quarterback. If Sam Darnold had the team that Josh Allen had, he'd be a better quarterback. And it's like, so is Josh Allen a worse quarterback because his team cares about him? Like, is that the argument that McDermott and Bean actually recognize where his strengths and weaknesses are? And by the way, Josh Allen recognizes where his strengths and weaknesses are, and he's very open about it. And he's very grateful and humble, you know. And Sam Darnold, I don't know, I'm not saying that he's like an ass or anything, but like when you got Adam Gase there, and he's pissing off everyone from day one, from the time he gets there, right? And you have the offensive line that the New York Jets have, year 3 for Darnold, like, get out of here, man.
Wait. They have an offensive line?
I think so.
No, apparently. Okay, so this is what sucks about this year because of COVID-19. We're not allowed to see a lot of stuff, so it's hearsay. You know, are they doing well or they're doing bad? All we see is Buffalo Bills receivers catching touchdowns, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I just, you know, on the NFL Network, I just read that Le'Veon Bell is hoping to do well. Their offensive line is the best unit on the team. And, you know, and that's, we'll get to later who our players are. But we don't know, and they say the coach is the problem. So
you know what I also heard? I also heard that Frank Gore is potentially leading himself to be above Le'Veon Bell in the depth chart.
Well,
so there's that.
Who'd you hear that from? Who's your source?
We're talking offensive line. I have a David Goliath situation here. We have Mikhail Becton at 6'6", 360 pounds, right? Who's he facing this week? Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison. Mario Addison's getting 10 sacks a year. Jerry Hughes is a sack machine, but had a little problems last year. We're gonna have two 6'2", 6'3", 250-pounders going against this 370-pounder, 360-pounder. This is my matchup of the week, is that defensive end left tackle position. And as far as I look at, when I look at the offensive line, McGovern is their center, and that's the only center they have, and it's really the only lineman that I know of that I've heard of before. I don't know. That's my defense. That's my matchup. Is the defensive line versus offensive line. I don't see how can the offensive line be the group of their system.
Right. I'm hearing that the offensive line is the strongest unit, and
we have the right guard and Winters, and I'm pretty sure he's told us everything we need to know about their coverages and their schemes in the 4 weeks that we've had them. You've got a rookie left tackle that's not gonna oh, we got rid of our veteran right guard. Now we're going to have to revamp our whole offensive scheme. That's not going to happen. How's this left tackle going to be able to handle our defensive ends when we have somebody on our team telling them all about it? I just
Very good point.
for them to say that they have a offensive line group that's the best in the team, that's bull. I don't buy it for one bit.
Well, that's the thing, Scott. They might very well be the best unit on the team. If they're called the best unit and everybody else is struggling.
Let's remember they struggled in the scrimmage against the backups. So
I have a hard time believing that like the best unit isn't the running back room, right? I mean, all I've seen are these pictures that Le'Veon's been posting of his abs, and that's obviously the most important thing in football is what your abs are, right? But I mean,
like I said, it takes a lot to sit up after you get tackled.
Yeah. Between Bell and Gore, I mean, that's got to be right, because like here's a question I was going to ask: who is the best defensive player they have right now?
He's Adams, but he gone.
No. Adams is gone.
Mm-hmm.
He gone.
Let's remember last year's game. C.J. Mosley was tearing shit up.
He's out. He's not playing.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. When he left the game, that's when the Bills took over. So Jamal Adams is gone. C.J. Mosley is gone. And now we have a cornerback. I don't even know the guy's name. That's supposedly supposed to cover John Brown. So you have no middle help, you have no deep help, and you have a cornerback that's now playing. That's got to cover John Brown, Stephon Diggs, Beasley.
This is what I'm saying, man. Like, so can anybody even name another defensive player that they have right now? Like, honestly, I'm not even trying to call anybody out or do anything, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, man.
Didn't have Quentin Williams? Am I saying his name right? Isn't he the 2018 to 2019 draft pick that they had high hopes for?
Yep.
He's struggling. I mean, he's not pushing, Pro Bowl or All Pro numbers. So I think.
But when you have nobody else, you don't have to worry about anybody else. If he's the toughest guy on the defensive line, you got to worry about. Then you just double him up with the offensive line that we now have back. This is the first time in a while the Bills has had repeat offensive linemen, other than Feliciano getting hurt. Brian Winters, as far as I'm concerned, is a level playing field. You double team that high-powered defensive lineman, and you don't have to worry about Mosley. And you may be able to give Josh Allen a little more time, maybe scramble time, because now you don't have to worry about Jamal Adams either blitzing or stopping the run, because he was really good at stopping the run and all that stuff.
He was very good.
Sure.
Well, but going back to your point from C.J. Mosley being as successful as C.J. Mosley was only as successful as he was because Jamal Adams was in the picture.
He was behind him. Yeah.
Right? So you take Jamal Adams out of the picture, C.J. Mosley's now going to go in coverage and do all this other stuff.
You can gamble a little bit when you have that safety behind you.
You're taking C.J. Mosley and you're moving him all over the field, like confusing the hell out of him, and there's nobody on the backside.
Yeah.
So he's got to worry about everything behind him, in front of him, to the sides. And now C.J. Mosley becomes a non-factor because wherever C.J. Mosley goes, you just go the opposite way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even a factor. It's not even a factor till next season because he opted out. So, I go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
You ask if you could name somebody on that defense.
Yeah.
My only concern is the name is Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator.
And that's my big worry for this coming up week is he's always put out good defenses. And, the thing that makes me nervous is when you're put in a corner, right, and you have nothing else to do. Greg Williams has already been with the Saints. He had a little issue with the whole injury gate or whatever they call that. If we're stomping
Bounty gate.
Yeah. You got a guy like Greg Williams, defensive coordinator, who always consistently puts out a good defense. But if you're getting stomped, that's what worries me, is that he's going to start pulling stuff like that. And that's kind of like my worry of the game coming up next week. Is, we have this high potential for the Bills' defense to shut everybody out this year, and we have the high potential for the offense to be potent. But what happens when you keep beating up on somebody? Someone's going to take a shot.
Coaches have to be smart and get the players out of there for safety reasons. You hate to put a backup in there to get hurt, but money talks. You save that multi-million-dollar player for someone that's only making $500,000. You hate to say it, but when the game starts getting dirty and it's out of hand and you're winning, you need to put the backups in.
All right, well, that brings me to let's do the game projections. I want you guys to pick your key player to success And what worries you about the Jets? I'm going to start with Dan. Who's your player to the success, and who's gonna worry about the Jets?
Well, obviously, everyone is always want to put the quarterback on the key plays to success, but as far as key players, but I mean, I'll move on from Josh Allen because I don't think the offense is going to have a problem, to be honest with you. And I think one of the things that will be okay is our ability to keep the ball for as long as we want to going against that defense. I think the key plays to success, to be honest with you, I'm going to put the ball in Tremaine Edmonds' court. And I'm going to say that I want to see Tremaine Edmonds stop that run game, and I want to see him just absolutely dominate in the middle when it comes to either, some coverage aspects or just shadowing Le'Veon Bell, Frank Gore, all that stuff, and just plugging those holes and keeping the Jets away from that 50-yard line and away from our territory. So I think if Tremaine Edmonds can learn a lot, and I'm hopeful that he has learned a lot, I have no doubt, actually, that I think that he's a talented player. I want to see that big leap from Tremaine Edmonds this game. And I want to see him shut the run game down. I want to see him shut the, dump passes down, all that BS. And I think if Tremaine Edmonds can come out and he can really, do a good job of that stuff, and he's learned a lot, which I truly believe he has, and he's shown that growth, I think that's going to be a big piece of that win for the Bills. Not just that win, but obviously, games throughout the season. So Tremaine Edmonds is really my key player to watch in this game and to see his growth. And I think that's going to be the one of the keys.
I love that you went defense on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I had to plug in my computer. I was about to go.
Okay, so Dan, what worries you? I know we're talking about how the Jets been struggling, but is there anything that worries you about that Jets team?
There's really nothing that worries me about this Jets team. You know what worries me about this Jets team is how bad we think the Jets are. And I just want the Bills to continue to go out and play good football, even against bad teams. Yeah. And that's one of the things that's really tough to do. But I think that McDermott really pushes consistency no matter what. Like, you see teams that play down to other teams and, things like that. It's like, okay, well, the Bills and the Jets, it's a rivalry, it's a divisional game. But, and so sometimes it ends up close when it never should be close. Yeah. Like, you see that stuff all the time. But honestly, I think if McDermott if they just stick with their game plan. The hype of it being the first game, COVID, and a divisional game, like, that's the only thing that scares me. There's not a single aspect of the Jets game itself that scares me. So
we're looking at NFL ranked number 6 against number 25. It shouldn't scare you, but
no,
again,
but
that's what makes you nervous.
But we're Bills fans, man. This is what it's all about.
That's where we need to start separating ourselves, right? So that's where, we need to stop being the typical Bills over the last,
so many years.
15 years.
Level.
So many years. Over the last 15 years, we need to stop being that Bills program that's going to play down to everybody, placate our own division like we've always have, and just blow the shit out of them and go out there and play hard and play to what it should be. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest challenge. There's nothing on the Jets team that scares me whatsoever. The only thing that scares me is us turning into the typical Bills.
Which one?
Very good point. Swank, I'm going to go to you. Who's your key player to the success of the Buffalo Bills this weekend? And if there's anything that worries you about the Jets?
I'm going to go first with the worry, and I'm going to say Denzel Mims. And I think he is the only worry on that offense for me. I think we proved last year that, we can take care of Le'Veon Bell. It's not, especially behind this offensive line now this year. I'm not super worried about him. Again, I want to reserve the right to be modestly humble and say he is a great NFL football player and running back. But at this stage in the game, like Dan said, this is where we got to separate ourselves. Everybody's talking about how good we can be, the potential, the power rankings, all this stuff. This is where it needs to shine. So you need to prove that you can just shut him down and make the team one-dimensional. The only reason that I worry about Mims a little bit is after our boy Trey Day's presser yesterday or 2 days ago, where he was talking about how he had to go back to the college tape and study him and how physical he is and what he was really going to have to do to prepare, and he, quote, said it was going to be a battle all day. So even though he's a rookie, it's his first NFL start, there's no preseason, and Tre'Davious is an all-pro who just got a huge extension.
Congratulations, by the way, Trey.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well deserved.
Well deserved. Yep.
Well
you got it.
deserved. The thing is, if Tre'Davious is giving him that kind of respect, like, the fans should give him that kind of respect. And hopefully he comes out and he shuts him down, and that's it. But
You know what? I think that's why Tre'Davious White is so successful, because he gives everybody that respect. So he takes them
Absolutely.
all serious, and that's why he is that successful.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And I mean, he said it best when he was saying, this is where I belong. Buffalo's a blue-collar town. I'm a blue-collar guy. Like, this is it. So he doesn't sleep on it. I don't see him making like a, quote, Billsy kind of move and letting all the money go to his head. He's so grateful. Like, you can just tell. Generational wealth, all this stuff that he's trying to set up. He's not talking about himself at all. He said he made his money on his rookie contract. You know what I mean? And he's talking about putting it back into his family, putting it back into his neighborhood. And his biggest goal is to have that 27 on the wall of fame, right? In Buffalo. Why can't he be the best 27 that's ever wore the jersey in Buffalo?
Yeah.
So, out of respect for that guy, I'm going to say Denzel Mims. That's who I think I would worry about slightly. On the other side, the make or break guy on the Bills is going to be Tre'Davious White against Denzel Mims.
There you go.
I think that matchup's going to be huge. And again, you could go the easy way and say Josh Allen. Everybody wants to see what Josh Allen's going to do on Sunday, and everything from camp and all the highlights and all that stuff. He's put on some freaking girth. And
Where's the button?
Yeah,
Where's the
do the dump button. Yeah, Danny said it earlier, and I'm just like, I had two hazies,
Eric has his kids watching.
Sorry, Eric.
We
I'm
fell
sorry.
in love with Trey White on Embedded, right?
Yeah.
You fell in love with him on Embedded, right? Because you watched him with his kids, you watched him with his wife, you saw his home, and you just listened to what he was about. And that's what Embedded was so cool. It's like Hard Knocks for Buffalo Bills fans, and it was awesome,
Yeah.
And Trey White just explained all those things. Like, you were like, okay. And so that's why I got worried this year. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna sign him? Are we gonna wait another year? Is he gonna be another guy that we dispose of,
No.
like Gilmore?
No.
Like, Danny, real quick, John Johns just mentioned, I'm interested how Trey responds after the contract signing, because so many times we've seen a big contract offered to Buffalo Bills players, and then
Yeah.
The guy responds like a professional. He always does.
John Johns, I think will respond well.
And that's the thing. Like, Stephon Gilmore did not, right? So Stephon Gilmore was a little bit different. We got rid of Stephon Gilmore because he did not respond in Buffalo Bills uniform like that, right? It wasn't until Stephon Gilmore, right? It wasn't until Stephon Gilmore went to the Patriots and all of a sudden have Bill Belichick up his ass that now he becomes this top corner, right? So it's like, okay, well, screw you, Stephon Gilmore. Like, you could have been that for Buffalo, but you did not show that same commitment like Trey White shows.
Yeah.
And, that's great.
He was a product of his environment. Like in New England, he's a product of his environment. He's got, he had a solid supporting cast. In Buffalo, he didn't have that, I don't think.
Yeah, they're wearing the stripe uniforms, right? Swank, is that what you're
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. That, and, so that's really interesting about the moment you said that it sunk in with Trey. For me, it was the snow game. I can't even remember the level of his play, but I just remember him dancing around. There was a lot of rumors going around at that time. I don't know if you guys remember or not, that he was not a Buffalo guy. He loved the football team. The city wasn't him. He liked the warm weather, all this stuff. There was some rumors going around that maybe he wouldn't stick around, and I don't think they came from his camp at all. But it was definitely floating around. And man, when that dude was doing his little Louisiana jig and dancing around and having a ball, and they won that game, and he was so stoked, I was like, he's a Buffalo guy forever. You can see it. Yeah, man. So I don't know. That was my moment where I realized that he was in it for real. And then again, his presser, man, just watching him react, those responses to those questions were way more like that. That had to be like a reporter's dream, because he just gave them everything. Like he
I think
laid
when
it all
when
out.
any athlete shows emotion after
Yeah.
something like that, that's the big reporter. Yeah, like you said, their dream. That's what they're
Yeah.
looking for. All right,
Well,
guys, I want Scott to give me his pick to the key player to success and who worries him about the Jets. And then after that, we're going to go on another quick break, and we're going to come back with our bold predictions and our scores that we're going to project. So, Scott,
There you
give
go.
me key player and who worries you.
All right, Swank, I hate to go here.
Do it.
Key player, Josh Allen. It's not because I think he has to be successful. I think it's because he just has to be mistake free.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I think the name that we should remember on the Jets defense is Greg Williams. He knows how to prepare for defenses. He's a seasoned coach that is very successful and always has been. Josh Allen just needs to be mistake free. He needs to understand now that not everything is on his shoulders. He's got the talent around him. He just needs to pick wisely. Complete some passes to Beasley, who's going to get the most receptions this year for the Buffalo Bills. I've said that plenty of times. And hopefully DeBall gives the ball to Singletary and Moss. He needs to understand that your quarterback is on his third year. He does need to wear the big boy britches, and he does need to control this offense. But he's relying on you to call a respectable and a responsible game plan against someone that you should dominate. He should dominate pretty well. Like I said, 25th ranked versus 6th ranked. The defense doesn't have Mosley. They don't have Jamal Adams. They have a defensive line that's okay. They just need to control the game from quarter one to the end of the fourth quarter. So Josh Allen's the guy I'm picking. Bold prediction: Josh Allen's getting his first 300.
You're doing bold prediction now? No, we're going to wait to come back to do that. I
Wait.
want you to
Bold
tell me
predictions
who
after
worries
break.
you.
Wait.
Yeah,
After
Come on
the
now.
break, no bold
Jumping
prediction.
the gun.
So who am I worried about? Right,
Worried about on the Jets.
Chris Herndon, tight end.
Herndon, you already told us that. Good job.
Well, I kind of leaked my information earlier in the episode.
You're a teaser, dude. You just tease it early, and then you drop the bomb.
The guy's an all-pro. He catches everything. He's a reliable source for Darnold, and he's going to have to be this week. I don't know if Darnold has someone he can dump the ball off to, or trust that his number one and number two won't be open, and he's got to hurry up and throw it to that tight end. And the running back won't be open out of the backfield. Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. Frank Gore doesn't show the speed, and Le'Veon Bell, he has been known to be a receiving running back, but with the limited talent that they have around, they're going to key Bell, and they're going to have to cover their wide receivers a little bit. So Herndon is what is my biggest concern. He can open up the field a little bit. He's dangerous down the seam. He's a big guy that can block as well. So Chris Herndon, tight end, he's been an all-pro before. Pro Bowler. All-pro is different. But he's my only worry. And if Milano, like I said, can live up to the hype and prove that he's worth the money that I think a lot of people think he's worth, it's his first test of the year, and he needs to show up. Milano versus Herndon, and we'll see what happens. I think that'll be a big part of the game.
All right, perfect. Now this is a chance for everyone to go get one more beverage. We'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit about what our bold predictions are going to be and the final score of the game. And we're going to highlight a couple games, the Dolphins and Patriots. We're going to give our predictions on that, and maybe another couple games too. All right, we'll be right back. Go Bills.
Hello, 24/7 Bills Fandemonium fans. Scott here. On behalf of Jared, Justin, Swank, and myself, we would like to thank you for joining in on the podcast tonight. We hope you're enjoying the show. During this late intermission, we want to remind you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch or listen on our live stream on Facebook Live or catch up on our podcast via YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, and subscribe if you like what you're getting from the 24/7 Bills Fandemonium Forum. Every week we'll be discussing everything current with the Buffalo Bills. We have up-to-date stat lines, injuries, and 24/7 Bills news on the tracker below as we discuss our Buffalo Bills during this offseason. Again, we thank you very much for your support, and remember, join the conversation, join the Stampede.
Welcome back to 24/7 Bills Fandemonium, the K-Gun Report
Yup.
week. Hey, quick, Danny, can you give us another plug for Dan Dino Sports?
Yeah, so Facebook group, guys. So Facebook groups, Dan Dino Sports, okay? You'll see is Dan Dino Sports memorabilia, and card breaks. So when you go to your search engine on groups, just type Dan Dino Sports, DANDINO, all one word, and you will catch us on there. What I want to say, though, is please, if you are going to enter into the group, send me a private message, guys. You'll see my name on the, obviously up here. You guys got my name, so look at me on Facebook. You'll see me as an administrator on the group. Throw me a message. Let me know you're a member of this group. I am keeping track of members that join my group from the 24/7 Bills program. So please let me know. Hey, Dan, join your group from the Bills group. And we'll take care of you. And also, we will look for great things as far as from this group moving forward. Hopefully we can collaborate more. And again, we do autographed, authenticated, certified memorabilia. And so would love to bring a lot of what we do into this group too. Bills fans, look it. Got to get some Josh Allen helmets in your household. Break some tables if you can't see the inscription. Like, I would love for you guys to own some cool memorabilia. And so, definitely come on in, join, private message me. I'm as reachable as anybody out there, and I will answer any questions you guys have. So, reach out, join the group, check it out, see what we do. Dandino Sports.
Hey, Dan, quick. Obviously, we know that all Buffalo Bills memorabilia is top notch. Besides Buffalo Bills, what's your biggest hit that you had?
Oh, man. Biggest hit? Jeez. I would have to say we had a Peyton Manning All-Star authentic jersey that we broke. It was sick. It was not so. A lot of memorabilia you see on custom jerseys is signed on the letters. Behind me you'll see Josh Allen right here on the 7. It's signed custom jersey. These authentic jerseys that are signed by big name players in the moment sometimes are signed in other places. So it was a Peyton Manning jersey. It was signed on the shoulder with All-Star whatever, and it was just absolutely disgusting. We actually broke 3 jerseys that series that were very much like that. It was Peyton Manning, Barry Sanders, and Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, yeah. Remember that.
They were disgusting jerseys. Other than that, we've had an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love dual signed helmet. We've had some really sick mini helmets from Brett Favre, beyond. So,
hey, didn't you have last Super Bowl? Didn't someone in this podcast win a Joe Montana signed football helmet?
Yes. Yeah. So there's a man in my screen to the left of me. If we're playing Hollywood Squares, to the left of me, Mr. Scott Reed won actually that weekend had a very lucky weekend and won 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 items from Dandino Sports that weekend.
Luke Kuechly, Nick Chubb.
So yeah, he actually cleaned up. So we broke some really cool things. We keep adding. Every series just gets better and better and better. I do what I like to call custom series. Is you might see breakers out there that break with Ultimate Autographs or Gold Rush or companies like that might do the blind series as for you. What I'd like to tell you is I'd like to challenge you to come into Dandino Sports and see a custom series that I put together myself. I'm not going from another third-party company bringing in stuff that I don't know what's underneath that box. Okay, I don't know if you're going to get something garbage, that Ultimate Autographs is going to charge me an arm and a leg for, or Gold Rush, and then I'm going to try to break it for you guys. I'm going to customize the series, which means I know every jersey that's in the series. I know every helmet. I know everything. Now, what I do is I take the jerseys, I pop them in my own custom box, I label them, I sticker them, and then I leave the room, and my wife randomizes everything for me. It's because I don't want to know what's in the box either. So when I come in and I number them, they're already randomized, they're mixed. She does it for me because I know it's in the series, but I don't know when it's breaking. So when I pick a box, you pick a box, and you won. I want to be as surprised as you are. Like I said, I started this group with the idea that I was going to help my friends get cool memorabilia like I was getting. And I'm still at that point. And I'm meeting people I have group members from Texas, North Carolina, Florida. I'm shipping out to, Indiana, Indianapolis. So we have group members from all over the country, and it's awesome. And all sorts of fans from different teams. So we have a lot of fun. It's a family environment. And, again, would love to give you guys this. If you're looking at building a sick little, man cave, Bill's man cave.
Yep.
Come on in.
That'd be nice to have.
Yep, exactly. And Dan, it's awesome stuff. And just a reminder to everybody, he's got a Buffalo Bills combo coming in for tomorrow. So join up quick so you can get down there and get all the Buffalo Bills stuff.
Absolutely.
Guys, it's time for predictions, okay? What I want from each and every one of you is I want a bold prediction, something crazy, and I want a final score. Swank, bold prediction, final score.
We're talking Bills, Jets, right?
Yes,
yeah,
now we're talking.
Of course we're talking Bills, man. Come on, man. It's week 1. My bold prediction. Well, I sent you guys in the group message a bunch of stuff earlier. But my bold prediction is that the Bills will win by at least 2 scores. And I believe those scores will be touchdowns. I also believe that Darnold's going to throw at least 2 picks and get sacked at least 3 times. Those are my predictions. And as far as a score goes, I'm going to say 28-10.
All right, now listen. Frank.
Bills.
I said bold. Give me something bold. Those are
Bolder?
mediocre.
Man,
Crazy.
that's like I'm a rational dude, man. I
No,
thought
you're
like
crazy.
I'm a Bills fan. I know how rational becomes bold really fast. You know what I
Throw
mean?
something out there. Just throw something out there.
All right, man. So for those sacks, Eddie O is gonna be responsible for 2 of them. That's what I'm
Defensive
saying.
tackle getting 2 sacks and 1
Oh,
goal.
why are you trying to steal my prediction?
I'm gonna
Ew.
write that down.
Right
You might as
there.
well go to
You
me
write it
now.
down right now.
And
You heard
that
it.
boy,
Listen, this
Eddie,
is what Scott says
get
on this
up.
podcast every week. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Scott, you might as well go up to you then. What's your prediction for the final score, and what's your bold prediction?
All right, I'll start with score 38-10.
Damn.
And that last touchdown is coming in BS time for the Jets. My bold prediction is a handful of predictions for Josh Allen. He's going to hit that 300 mark. He's going to throw for 72%. I have him going 18 for 25. And I'm adding on top of that and going Moss and Singletary will accumulate 180 total yards, and they will score twice themselves. That's 35 points, right? We're going to see Tyler Bass hit a 50-plus yard field goal, and that's going to be your 38 points.
You got those all written down?
I mean, it's going to be on the internet forever after tonight, so
I think
you
you
can go
had
back.
like 4 bold predictions. I think we
Yeah,
need
dude.
All right, Dan, what you got?
The flyover is going to have the color blue on it.
Gatorade.
Gatorade's going to be green.
It's not gonna be Gatorade. It's
The
gonna be
Bills going to
color.
win the. Let's so think that my bold. If I'm going to make a bold prediction, now I wanted to go Eddie Oliver having a big game. It's ultimately because I want Eddie Oliver to have a big game. He needs to have a big game.
Absolutely.
He's got to redeem himself after his off-the-field BS, so he needs to have a big game. That was going to be it, but here's another one. Dawson Knox leads all receivers tomorrow.
In what?
All right. Well, earlier in the episodes this year, we had him benefiting the most from Stephon Diggs' addition. So
Dawson Knox leads all receivers in receiving yards and touchdowns.
Receivers
There's my
on the
bold
Bills
prediction.
or receivers in the NFL? Because the NFL prediction would be bold.
That would be extremely bold. No, Bills. Bills might going to be bold too because we all expect Dawson Knox to be the 4th,
Yeah.
right?
I don't
So,
think Diggs is going to have the most reception yards on Sunday, man. I think everybody's going to
so.
double team him, and I think you're closer than it would be if it was Diggs for sure.
I don't think they'll highlight Diggs, not for the first week. Everybody's expecting that. So, Dan, I'm going with you. I've been a Dawson Knox fan the whole time, and
Juggernauts, bro.
As long as he doesn't get the most receptions, which Beasley will, Dawson Knox can get the most yards and touchdowns. I'm okay with that.
Did you maybe put a little capital in him on your fantasy team?
I may have a little bit.
Jared, what do you got?
PPR
all
league.
right. So you guys got kind of like a little blowout action going. Like I said, the unknown still concerns me. I deep down inside, I want them just to blow out the New York Jets, but I got a feeling it's going to be a little struggle at the beginning because no one knows what's going on really. So the Jets are going to go up quick, but then the Bills will finally start to put their pieces together. I got the final score being 27-17. My bold prediction, Scott already touched on it. I think Allen's going to finally get that 300-yard game only because he's going to need to because he's going to have to play catch-up a little bit. But on the defensive side, they're going to give up 17 points, and that's kind of going to be a wake-up call, and then they'll shut out everybody else for the rest of the year. No. So over 300 yards passing for Allen, 27-17, Buffalo Bills.
Lisa Jones.
Emily watching if you want
down
to-
49-3.
Cow, Lisa. 49-3 from Lisa.
Wow.
He's not messing around.
I like it. Lisa,
That's
I
7
like it.
I think both Zach Allen and Zach Allen.
Zach Allen.
Zach Allen. I think Zach Allen needs to have some yardage there.
Yeah, dude.
I think both our running backs have 100 yards plus in that game.
Damn.
That's another good one.
Dan,
That would be a 280. That would be like a maybe like a 320 game with both running backs having over 100.
Right, for that 49-3 score.
Let's
Lisa, I like it.
can we hit on something really fast? How many yards do we really think that Moss is going to get? Can we talk about that on Sunday?
Yeah, so I'll touch on it really quick.
Sure.
I think, to be honest with you, with his power, he might get more than Devin Singletary for this first game. He's going to be a new toy that I think McDermott's going to run with. I'm not saying Devin's going to have a mediocre game, but I just feel Zach Moss, when he gets his opportunity, he might actually lead the Bills before the end of Week 1 with rushing yards. So I'll say he'll hit probably 85 yards with a touchdown.
More carries, though, Jared? Is Singletary still the lead back, or is Moss getting more carries?
No, I mean, Moss is going to come up and switch things up, and I think it's just going to be a dive up the middle. He's going to bust out for 40 yards, and that's going to stack on his yards. But I think he's going to lead the way with 85. Singletary right behind him with 83, though.
Nice.
And Allen with 50.
Yeah. I think the only thing to debunk you on that, Jared, with that is that I think that McDermott wants to build confidence in Singletary, so Singletary is the guy, and Zach Moss will complement. So I put Moss at maybe 40 to 50 yards on Sunday. I put Singletary with probably $120, $130, and I think that's just because Singletary is the guy. He is the one that McDermott wants to build the confidence in. You are the veteran now. You are the guy, and he showed last year he was willing to put in the work. Obviously, he was a beast. So I think McDermott puts a lot of faith in him. I think he keeps Moss at kind of like that, let me give you some experience level, unless we end up in a scenario like, Lisa said, and then Singletary can come out, and then we can bring Moss in, and let him run some drives at the end of the game. You're talking third quarter, you're bringing Moss in to be the lead back, and Singletary sits down and puts his clothes on, street clothes on. So if Singletary puts his street clothes on in the third quarter, I think that still means that Singletary is close to 100 yards. And I also think that means we're going to give Moss that extra experience, which I would love. So if we're at that point, I'm loving life. I want these guys, Gabriel Davis, Zach Moss, I want these rookies to get some extra work. I think that would really benefit them if we can actually blow out a shitty team and just give our young guys that ability. But I think McDermott's going to want to put things – I think McDermott wants to keep the peace, and I think he's going to want Singletary to take over that role. So I think Singletary has $120. I think Moss has somewhere in the 50 range.
All right.
I like what you're thinking, Dan. I said
I think we're happy with that.
Total yards between the two.
I'm happy with a W at the end of the week at 350.
Yeah, whatever it takes to win.
What
I'm happy with a dub, some good experience, absolutely.
Real quick, does the way that McDermott worked Singletary into the offense last year play a factor at all into this year? Like, do we think that because they had Frank Gore as the lead back and they worked Singletary in slowly, that they're going to do the same thing with Moss? Or are they over that? They're at a different level. They're just going to go full bull ahead with whatever they want to do.
I think they work Singletary into the system to be the number one. That's what I think. That's why you didn't see Frank Gore before.
Absolutely, but I kind of disagree. Like, I don't think Singletary was really worked into the system at all. Like,
really,
Sean McCoy struggled a little bit in the beginning, and Frank Gore was the only consistent one. And when they put Singletary in, and he had like a couple like just moments, they started working him pretty quickly back into that system. And I think they intended on Singletary probably sitting out longer than they anticipated. Like, they probably didn't want to work him in. But I remember his first couple like touches were just big. First touch was like, maybe a pass for 18, a run for 12. And I was like, holy crap, this guy's explosive. Like, what are we going to do here? And of course, like, anybody can be that way in the first couple carries, but like, there was just something different about Singletary. And from then on, they kind of threw him in more and more and more and worked out LaShawn McCoy. And so I don't know that they really worked him into the system. I think he just impressed the shit out of the coaches. And I think Singletary just ultimately started to get some more carries because he showed how diverse he was.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, Singletary, it was like probably like the fourth or fifth game that they, like, after he got hurt and then he came back. And then it was like they were coming in. And you were talking about Gore, right? Like, because Gore was like the featured back, and then they worked Singletary in. But I don't know, man. I think this is a different time. Like, this isn't last year, and I think each year that Bean and McDermott have been together, they take the situation as it is and they move forward. So for me, if I'm optimistically thinking about like what Moss means to this team, I'm going to say that he's a better version of Frank Gore, physically, maybe not mentally and as far as like prep for games. But I don't know, man. Wouldn't it just be like amazing if they gave him one right down the middle and he popped it for like 12, 15 yards right off the bat? You know what I mean? And I could see it happening, you know?
Establish the contact.
Yeah.
Because here's another thing, Swank, getting back to your point. I mean, Devin Singletary is our slash and dash guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming into the first regular season game of the year and there hasn't been really that much contact, you're going to give it, maybe you might give it to the guy who said it's going to be a business decision for those guys.
Yeah.
Bump him down for that first drive to establish the contact, and then now give it to you number one. Who knows? Who knows what we'll see?
Let's remember what kind of running backs McDermott and Bean go for. The last two running backs they've gotten in the last 2 years are guys that are top 3 in elusiveness and breaking tackles in their college career.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that Moss is not only thumping people, running over people. He's also juking and sidestepping those defenders. So
he's agile. Yeah,
he's very agile. So let's not. The business decision thing is only a warning. It's only a warning.
What I almost, and I hate to make this comparison, just because.
Don't hate
obviously
Dave.
the obvious. Sean McDermott reminds me of Bill Belichick a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Sean McDermott is exactly like Bill Belichick in so many different ways. And it reminds me of that in that he doesn't put these rookies on this pass or fail pedestal. It's like, you're now in the NFL, motherfuckers. Sorry, F word. But you're now in the NFL. Like, here's your expectation. Here's your job.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Next man up, blah, blah, blah mentality. That's the same mentality that McDermott is. It's like, you're now in the NFL, welcome, get your crap together or you're out or whatever. You know what I mean? So McDermott very much plays that same kind of system that Belichick does. And so, these guys really buy into this. And I see like Moss and Singletary and those guys working really hard together, honestly.
I mean, you hate to hear Belichick and comparing anybody to him, but Belichick is
God, I just hate to compare because I just hate to do that automatically.
Well,
I love it.
McDermott does not treat his rookies like rookies.
No.
Right.
Like some of these other people do. He's like, you're here now. Here's your expectation. Let's go.
Do it. Yeah.
So I love that Moss would have that. I love that I love to hear Gabriel Davis in camp killing it. And he's going to be thrown in and he's going to have a role. And, I love to hear that these quarterbacks and these running backs, wide receivers, I love to hear that it's like, okay, you're here now, so let's go. Like, I don't want to, we're going to wait on you. We're going to sit back. We're going to let you watch Devin Singletary take some carries. No. You're here now. You're in this spot. Let's go. Let's see what you got. So
time to work. Get to work.
And I think Moss is a workhorse. And I think Moss is going to put in some good work. I think Moss is a very competitive dude. And I think he's going to make Singletary better because of that. And I think that duo is going to be a good duo. I worry about where our third.
We'll have that duo for the next 3 years too.
And I worry about what it brings about to our third if somebody gets hurt. I think Singletary's a better athlete. I really do. I think Moss is more of a ground and pound guy. Like, he's agile, but he's Frank Gore. I wish we had Frank Gore for one more damn year to talk to Zach Moss. Because Zach Moss is Frank Gore, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's like that that perfect like combination of Frank Gore and Marshawn Lynch, I think. Like the body type, the style.
Frank Gore's been able to have 14-year career so far as a
Yeah.
running back, which is unheard of.
I think it's actually 29 years, but yeah.
It might be 37. Yeah, sorry. It's because Frank Gore doesn't take the big hits, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so agile. He has the ability to go side to side so much, and he's a ground and pound guy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take the same hits that other people take, and he's in the league still. And some of these running backs last 5, 6, 7 years. That's it.
The average.
26 years old is the death age.
I was going to say the average
crazy.
career is
and you
2.5
see
years.
somebody that's working on double that, so kudos to him, and kudos to being somebody that's a ground and pound but agile guy who avoids a lot of those hits that put people out of their career and makes the game of it. If he can, I would have loved him to talk to Zach Moss about that.
Yeah.
Would have loved it.
All right, guys, just make another comparison. I know you like to compare. You compared Belichick to McDermott. It's good to have that business-like structure, but the difference between McDermott and Belichick is that he allows his players to show emotion, which grabs the attention of the fans. Going to the Patriots, let's make a bold prediction. Let's make a final score prediction for the AFC East division. Quickly, we're going to go Dolphins at Patriots. I'm going to go the Dolphins upset the Patriots 31-27. Scott, what you got?
I'm not giving Patriots that many points.
No?
I'm going Fitzmagic is going to, unfortunately, with the happenings of the last couple weeks, he'll be playing with a fire underneath his ass. And I see the Dolphins scoring. I have a 28-10, 28-13. I don't see the defense doing anything because the Patriots don't have a linebacker core. They don't have much to show for on defense. And I see Cam Newton just not showing up. I mean, he has no wide receivers. We discussed it earlier.
Yeah.
Got a rookie as number 3. I don't know who their tight end is. I don't know who their number 2 is. I know I don't see their offense performing it.
All right, Swank, what do you got? What's your Dolphins-Patriots prediction?
Well, I think the only thing that really weighs this decision too much for me, because I want to home run ball it to Miami because I like Miami. I like what they're doing, which I know is like sacrilegious for being a Bills fan. But they're building very similar to the way that the Bills built. This game is in New England, I believe. And
Yep.
So you would think that the scales tip towards New England, but I say 2020 is such a bad year to be a Patriots fan that the Miami Dolphins beat them at home with Cam Newton and his crazy hair and his little scarf around his head, crying in the media press afterwards, saying, "I wish that we wouldn't have lost 17-13.
All right.
Miami 17-13.
Yeah, very similar. I agree with Swank. I'm going a little lower. I'm going 13-10 Miami.
Damn.
Oh,
Going
there you go.
13-10. I think Miami
Alright.
pulls one touchdown off, and then they get a couple field goals, and that's exactly where we're set.
There you go.
There you go. I like that. So everyone has the Dolphins winning.
And it's a 1 o'clock game, correct?
Yeah, same time.
There you go.
All right. So we're going to throw one more game out there just because we have a little bit more time, and then we'll wrap up the show. Do you guys have any, looking at the schedule, do you have any upsets? And I'll start with mine. I think this Thursday night you're going to see the Texans go in and beat the Chiefs.
Whoa. Yeah?
Yeah,
Defense
I got-
shows up. I agree with you.
Wow.
They during the playoff game, I think they had a 21-0 lead. Houston did, and they just fell apart at the end. Mahomes came back and did what he does. But that's my first NFL game of the year is going to be an upset. The Texans beat the Chiefs. Now, if you want to score, I don't know what it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be a high one. So I'm going to go with, let's say, 35-31, Houston.
107 to 250.
All right, Dan, you got anything? You got an upset game of the week?
Bleacher Report agrees with you, by the way. I'm just saying 35-24.
Wow.
There you go.
They have the Texans winning by 11. I'm going to tell you a fun game this week. Tampa Bay and the Saints.
Yeah, everyone's going to be watching it.
You guys just took my 2 games. Breeze versus Brady. Go ahead, Dan.
And I think that Breeze outdoes Brady,
Oh, hell yeah.
not even by a little, but by a lot. And I think this game ends up putting Tampa Bay where they need to be, which is over here, And Brady can do whatever he wants to do and all this other BS, but I think that New Orleans Saints puts Tampa Bay in their place, probably throws up a 28-10, 35-10 type of game, and I think that New Orleans runs with that.
All right, we're gonna call that the Geriatric Bowl, and I have Drew Brees in my fantasy football team, so I'm hoping Drew Brees has a good game. Swank, what's yours?
Well, Jared, real quick, let's not forget what the NFL did this year. There's a lot of New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Brady games that are on different times this year. So I think they did it on purpose so we can watch the Brady fail and the Patriots fail.
No, that's good.
Swank, you're up.
No, man, I want you to go because I have a whole thing that I've prepared. So you go, and then I'll go.
All right, well, Browns beat the Ravens.
Boo. I hate the Browns.
It's my upset of the week. I think we talked about it earlier in other episodes. I think the Bills have a platform to how you are supposed to beat Lamar Jackson, and I think the Browns are smart enough to realize that they are talent-wise. I think the Browns are pretty talented. I think they could take care of the Ravens, so that's going to be my upset of the week. Like I said, Bills set the mark. They created the schemes to beat Lamar, and I think watch Browns go 1-0 after week 1.
That's exactly why I don't want to see the Browns do it. I hate the Browns, dude. I can't stand them.
Not even that I hate the Browns. I just can't. I mean, yes, on paper, talent. Oh my God! But that paper is my toilet paper, unfortunately.
Dude, Odell, hate Odell. Jarvis Landry,
every piece of
I hate Jarvis
comes out
Landry.
with one roll. It's like Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham,
Kareem Hunt, Baker
Kareem
Mayfield.
Hunt,
All
Baker
these players. I
Mayfield,
hate
Chubb,
the whole
and
team.
then I roll that
Miles.
into a piece of ball and I wipe my ass with it. It's tough.
It's
It's
Browns.
tough.
It's the Browns. You're gonna have some Browns haters on that one, but Swank, what's your upset?
All right, so I decided if we're going to continue to do this every week, that I want to just do my pick to be the loser bowl. Like, it's going to be the worst game of the week, and I'm going to pick the winner of the worst game of the week. And while I'm looking at all this, I'm going to say, no, I thought about that game. I'm going to say it's Oakland at Carolina. I think those are the two worst teams playing this whatever.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What's the team you're going with?
The team I'm going with to win the loser bowl for this week is going to be none other than the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. I love Teddy Bridgewater, dude. Like, he's a great guy. And you know what? I hate everyone on the Raiders. Every single person. Hate them all. No, man, I think, I don't know. Like, the Panthers are like Bills Southeast. You know what I mean? Mid-Southeast. We got all their best parts, and they're just sitting there like kind of simmering. So I think, also because I hate Gruden, and if you've watched Hard Knocks, Sean McVay is like Gruden's illegitimate son. They are like the exact same person, only Sean McVay is like that cool guy who he talks to like Jared Goff, like, hey man, great I saw your snap, you know what I mean? That's great, dude. You're doing great. Throw that ball. That's awesome. And I hate him. I hate him, dude. I hate him. He's so bad.
I thought you would have went as your worst game of the week as the Steelers and Giants, because that's a pretty garbage game too.
No, I think the Steelers are better. Like, well,
right, Gordner. Well, Gordner, I don't know. Maybe Gordner
just because Eric's
about this.
Just because Eric's in the chat.
The Steelers and the Giants is a pretty terrible game too.
Dude, the Steelers should just wash the Giants.
Here's our two Monday night games, by the way. This guys is Steelers, Giants, Titans, Broncos. So if you couldn't vomit it off on those two games on Monday night, you're probably just sitting there happy to watch football.
Yeah.
If that's anything that represents football, then
yeah.
I think
Broncos
are going to be a surprise team this year.
Yeah, Broncos. You think so? They Von Miller just went at potential season-ending injury. So
did he really?
Yep.
Is that breaking?
You're relying on your swagger of Drew Lock. The swagger.
Hey, Dan.
Jared, you serious though?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Oh Jesus. Well,
Dan,
Drew
we
Lock
wanna
is for
thank
real
you
though.
for joining the party tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys.
Again, hit up Dan Dino. He's got a Bills thing going tomorrow. Get after him, message him so he can get you in there. Guys, Bills Jets. Next time we're going to talk about how the Bills beat up on the Jets and then our next coming game. We want to thank all the viewers. Anybody who's going to watch the show later, don't be afraid to comment. As far as our 24/7 Bills Fandemonium page, don't be afraid to go on there and give us stories. Time out. What's going on?
Dude, Eric Gordner right now with his middle finger emoji about all the Steelers the Steelers talk is making me laugh very hard.
He looks like a Bills fan right now. He
has Super
very
Bowl.
middle finger with a Super Bowl.
Apparent that Eric probably
He's got to accept it is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm sorry.
Go to
It just
bed.
made me laugh
Dante
so
Johnson
hard.
doesn't scare anybody.
So again, thank you for joining the Bills 24/7 Bills Fandemonium presents the K-Gun Report. We'll see you next Tuesday at 9:30. We look forward to everybody commenting and sharing, and enjoy Sunday at 1 o'clock. And as always,
boy.
go Bills, guys.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Thanks, Dan.
Woo!
Go Bills.
Yeah.